Hello there, Force of Will players, and welcome back to another Wanderer Wednesday. This week, we have something a little fun. I actually found this deck or thought of this deck while we were looking through like new stuff from the new set, cards that we were wanting to play. Due to the nature of some of this, like the new stuff that had come out in Game of Gods Revolution. And then the deck kind of went from there. There was a lot more stuff to it than I initially thought, and as I'm sure you can kind of see from the title, it's going to be Valentina 2.0 or Valentina Plotting Lord of the Seven Seas. Now, I'm sure there's some stuff in here that you're not really super like you probably wouldn't guess that it's in here, but that's the interesting and fun part about deck building, is you can kind of find these things like as you just experiment with different decks. Like stuff that seems obvious in other decks might not seem super obvious in this one. So getting straight on into it, this is the list that I have for you. It's not really organized, unfortunately, but the main two are kind of right on top of each other. Well, main three, sort of. Origin of the Seven Lands is a really kind of unique, if you watched my previous video yesterday with my Zeus deck, it's kind of like an up-and-coming like sleeper card that it's never really been super prevalent in the past, but with Typhon's cards we got a lot of effects that trigger when cards are revealed from outside of the game, and Origin of the Seven Lands is just the best generic way to do that. We're playing 4 of it in this version. Typically a lot of decks will play around 3 to 4, and it's mainly to hit Drywing. So Drywing is 3 mana, it's a villain's card, but when you reveal Drywing, you get to recover a stone, and then your opponent can't produce mana outside of calling stones. So it's kind of like a way to slow your opponent down from producing like extra will, in addition to also kind of ramping you simultaneously, right? Because Origin will just filter into green, and then Drywing will recover whatever stone you filtered into Origin. So you just go up a free mana. So that's a really impactful thing of Origin, and that's what we've been using it for in a lot of the decks we've been playing, just free reveal effects, either for Mechanized Fenrir, Drywing, things like that. However, Origin does have another effect. It has 2, actually. It has its own enter effect to reveal. If you have the 7 kings from Alice Origins revealed from outside of the game, you get to put a Resonator token copy of their J-Ruler side into play, and then you can pay 0 to play God's Arts abilities of your J-Ruler. So those are the 2 different unique things with it. Valentina 2.0, if you're unfamiliar with what she does, is when she enters your field, you can reveal any number of 7 Kings J-Rulers with different names you own from outside the game and keep them revealed until end of game, and she gains +1/+1 for each card revealed, and she gains all of their names, and she gains all of their God's Arts abilities. So our side deck is capped with 4 Drywing and then filled out with 11 7 Kings. Some of the original ones, and then all 7 from Alice Origins, so we can actually hard cast or play Origin of the Seven Lands and get 7 of these new 7 of these Resonator tokens. In addition, because we're getting 11 God's Arts, this being in play to let us pay 0 for our Valentina's God's Arts is pretty impactful. Some of them we're not going to really be able to use, they're just there for the name. So for example, Priscia, we're not playing any 4 Sacred Beasts, so her God's Art's kind of null and void, but because Valentina also gains the name, it allows her to get Imperishable off of Horn. Same kind of thing with like Excalibur with the Death Scythe activated effect, things like that. So that is why we still have some of these names. You can cut them if you so wish, but I just wanted them in there for like the Imperishable effect and other things like that. Some of the God's Arts are pretty decent, like applicable. Like I know like Valentina's is like you gain control of a Resonator. Res Art is kind of like a board/hand wipe sort of deal. You can recover all Resonators you control with Farias, things like that. So there are useful ones. They're not as crazy impactful as they would have been like back in the day, but it's still kind of funny that you can just have 11 God's Arts to play. moving over to the right real quick, we're playing Heart to Heart Talk and Maria Bella. The reason for Heart to Heart Talk is Valentina's front side is blue and 1 to search your deck for a Regalia and add it to your hand. So you can remove that 1 cost from the first time you play it each turn by just playing Heart to Heart Talk. So you can just get Regalia for a cheaper value. Just 1 blue instead of blue and 1. Thirdly, Regalia Beast. So Regalia Beast is a new card in Game of Gods Revolution, and it is a Regalia Resonator. It is both. So it is searchable off of Valentina's effect, and it has the text of, as it enters the field, you choose an attribute, the card comes in with the chosen attribute, and you produce a will of any attribute shared with this card. It's a 4/4, and it costs 1 light to normally play. Like I said, it is searchable off of Valentina, Plotting Lord of the Seven Seas, so it's and because it just produces 1 will of any attribute shared with it, you can use that to perform Judgment to kind of hit all 5 colors for Origin, if you so choose, or want to do that, and other things like that. The other thing with Regalia Beast, moving down to the right, is 3 Tea Party members counts it A for its cost reduction, and then B, you can also recover it. So 3 Tea Party members now functions as a quasi-ramp by recovering your Regalia Beast after tapping it if you have 3 Regalia. So if I have a Regalia Beast and let's say an Excalibur Godsword and a Deep Blue in play, I can now play 3 Tea Party members for free, and I can untap my Regalia Beast, right? So I just get free will. And that is fairly impactful for a lot of the stuff that we're trying to do, right? Either play these God's Arts, play Origin, Judgment early, because her Judgment is 3. She does cost a lot to Judgment relatively to newer type rulers. Horn, Excalibur the Godsword. Horn is just a pretty decent generic Regalia. The other thing is because it gives Imperishable, since we have the Priscia, it's just a way to keep our Valentina alive if we want to re-Judgment. Because she won't regain names of things that she's revealed, it might be better to just maybe cut down on Horns and then cut down on like maybe Priscia or things like that, give you more side deck space and focus more on Origin resolving to get your Resonator tokens. But I just opted for the 3 Horn because Horn is also a good interruption tool for certain decks like Athenia or other things like that. Excalibur, free will also gives your J Ruler Imperishable, also reduces the cost of God's Arts to play. So that is prevalent for like these higher cost ones, right? So like God's Breath, things like that. It allows you to play those God's Arts for 2 less, because your name is Faria, right? And other things like that. Maribel, we're playing a 1 of Maribel just because it gives your J Ruler barrier. We don't really have anything else to do with it, but because it's a Regalia, it is searchable. And it gives your RJ Ruler barrier, which I don't think any of the other Regalia off the top of my head do that. So it's just a way to prevent your Valentina from just dying right away, right? So you can play like a Maria Bella and then Judgment. Death Scythe, again, all of these Regalia are searchable, so we don't necessarily need more Death Scythe. We can just prevent our opponent's J Ruler from gaining swiftness with the 1 if we so need it. Deep Blue is a form of ramp for us, so we can discard other Deep Blues in order to produce mana in order to ramp. The other thing is because it is a filter, we can filter into green if we so choose, which is why I have the light blue stones down here, because with a Deep Blue they're technically light blue green. And red, but we don't really have any red in the deck. For Percival lets you look at the top 5, you get a chant or you get a Regalia. We're on a lot of Regalia, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and then chants 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Like, you're probably going to hit with Percival. Odds are you will. And then you can banish Percival to force C1. So Percival is just like a quasi-filter in order to maybe get more Regalia for you. Search your deck for them quickly, get that kind of stuff out. And then just cancel Sweep for Lorite for Fair Spell. Again, this deck is fairly malleable. You can remove Horn Count, you can cut out Excalibur Godswords, put other stuff in, you can cut down on Lorites, you can cut down on Fair Spells. The only real thing that I personally wanted from the deck was Regalia Beast, Origin of the Seven Lands, and then Heart to Heart Talk was kind of in there too for the extra regalia, like the cheaper regalia. And then 3 Tea Party members just came in to play pretty late, honestly, in the deck building process, because I was so focused around Regalia Beast and just having it in play. There were other things that it's potentially interesting to take a look at with Regalia Beast, potentially in this deck or in like Alice itself, because this card is probably absurd in Alice, Order Alice, Tales of Creation. Because it is a beast, you can play stuff like Priscia's Call to Action, which would replace itself. It costs 0, and it would give it swiftness, so it can immediately tap for will. So it's kind of like a quasi ramp spell, or it's like functionally ramps. And like maybe play like other beasts to work with Priscia's Call to Action. That is another option that you could like route that you could go. If you're playing Alice, you would obviously probably cut the God Swords for IUs, and then you have extra ramp with IU and other things like that. And then because it has this extra text of when a non-resonator regalia is put in the field under your control, you can put this card from grave into hand. It kind of just keeps recycling itself. So there's kind of a lot you can do with Regalia Beast. It actually surprised me as a card at just how versatile it is, and how much the Regalia tag lets it synergize with other types of things. And then like down here, right, like Ruler's Memoria, I mean, it counts as Regalia for Ruler's Memoria, so that's kind of funny. So you're kind of pretty much in 5 color. You have 4 Moonshade for Ruler's Memoria, and then again, you're like, if you look at this, your early plays are just blue and or light, or if you have deep blue, you also have green for your 3rd color. So you're in like a very good spot for like mana consistency. And then again, sideboard wise, like if you don't, I just wanted all 7. I just wanted to play all 7 copies of the Rulers with this. But like, for example, Arla, you would get like a free stone, but like the God's Art is useless because you don't have Stranger Resonators, since you're not a like Stranger deck. Same kind of thing with like Faria. You wouldn't get like the Stranger effect. So like things like that, like some of them just aren't super impactful, so they don't really matter a whole lot. And you can kind of mix and match, see what you want to play, if you want other sideboard options to play against like your opponent and things like that. But anyway, that is going to conclude the video for this Wednesday. I have a whole bunch of other ones coming out over the next like however many Wednesdays, because we got so much fun synergy with older ruler types, older like archetypes and like things like that. It's actually been very fun for me to deck build recently. So I haven't the next few weeks planned out, but this is one that I just wanted to put because we've been messing around with Origin for the first effect with Drywing specifically and like Typhon cards, but I just thought it was funny that you could play Valentina to do a fast reveal on all 7 as opposed to waiting 7 turns, and then just play Origin to get all 7 into play. I thought it was a pretty fun and unique take on the deck. But thank you so much for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye bye.